New partners for Roman Reigns if Jey Uso fails to make it to SummerSlam. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jennifer, have a nice day. For the WWE family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you. The go-home episode of WWE Raw before SummerSlam doesn't end well for Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, as Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed overwhelmed them. This happened when the original tribal coalition, OTC, attempted to assist the Yeet Master during an ambush by the villainous faction. The OG Bloodline members initially gained the upper hand, but Breaker and Reed eventually took control and left the Samoan Stars down. Reed even hit multiple tsunami splashes on Jey, leaving him sidelined. Given the circumstances, there's a real possibility that Jey Uso may be unable to compete at the biggest party of the summer. If this happens, Roman Reigns will need a new partner for the high-stakes tag team match. In this article, we'll explore 3 potential replacements for Jey Uso if the 39-year-old star cannot participate in the match. Jimmy Uso is currently part of the SmackDown brand and is involved in a rivalry with the MFT. He has been supporting Jacob Fatu in his efforts to take on Solo Sikoa's faction before his steel cage match for the WWE United States Championship at SummerSlam. Since Jimmy does not yet have a scheduled match, there's a strong possibility that he could step in as Roman Reigns' tag team partner. This would reunite the original Bloodline members in their quest for redemption after the attack on Jey by Bronson and Breaker. Last year, reports surfaced that Lance Anoa'i had signed with WWE, though he has not yet debuted, possibly due to injury. With those reports dating back several months, Lance might be ready for an on-screen return. It's worth noting that Lance and Roman shared a memorable moment on Raw in 2019, when Roman helped him during an altercation involving Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon. A reunion at SummerSlam would be a nostalgic callback and a big moment for fans of the extended Bloodline family. The Rock hasn't appeared in WWE since Elimination Chamber 2025, but with SummerSlam being a marquee event, there's speculation that the final boss might return. When Roman Reigns defeated Solo Sikoa in a tribal combat match during Raw's Netflix debut, The Rock gave his acknowledgement to Roman, suggesting that the two are aligned, at least for now, in the ongoing Bloodline saga. Given this storyline connection, The Rock teaming with Roman at SummerSlam would not only electrify the crowd, but also serve as a fitting response to the threats posed by Bronson and Breaker, should Jey be unavailable. Monday Night Raw in Detroit began with a tribute to the late Terry Bollea, better known as Hulk Hogan, whose passing was announced last Thursday at age 71. The stage was filled with current and former WWE superstars paying their respects. Notably, Eric Bischoff and Hogan's son Nick were in attendance. With SummerSlam on the horizon, WWE will likely continue to honor Hogan's legacy at the premium live event in New Jersey. Tonight's Raw was hosted at the Little Caesars Arena, the same venue where Claressa Shields recently scored a win over Lonnie Daniels. The show was filled with storyline development ahead of WWE's biggest summer event. Jey Uso opened the show, but didn't even get the chance to deliver his trademark "eat" before Paul Heyman interrupted. This angle, like much of the recent Bloodline narrative, has felt pieced together, but there's still potential for a dramatic twist before SummerSlam. But the current situation for the Rollins List show still speaks volumes about where the company sees the 4 men involved in this weekend's tag match. Jey and his cousin Roman Reigns will take on what's left of the unnamed Rollins faction. Can you believe they never received a name? In Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Even the Bronze Bros would be better than nothing. Heyman reminded Jey that he had been in this position before, but he was once backed by the strongest crew in the locker room. Now, he finds himself facing off against them. Heyman also emphasized Reigns' decision to name Solo as the de facto successor to the role of tribal chief. None of this seemed to shake Jey, who focused on the bloodline that still runs through him. The absence of OTC kept the segment from reaching its full potential, and Heyman's mic skills were almost too effective, making the younger talent around him appear less impactful by comparison. Interestingly, both Reed and Breaker were former allies or members of the Bloodline, in different eras. Yet they've never stood on the same side. The match setup clearly led to a Breaker interruption followed by a save from Roman. After temporarily neutralizing Breaker, Roman tried to lift Reed but couldn't, eventually managing to drive him into the turnbuckle. Look for the big payoff this weekend when Roman finally gets Reed off his feet, drawing a major reaction. Roman and Jay stood tall to close the night, but overextended by taking the fight outside to weaken their SummerSlam opponents. That's when Breakker delivered a devastating spear to Roman, while Reed shut down Jay's momentum. Corey Graves speculated, "This must be the plan," though the logic is unclear. It seems more plausible that the sheer power and energy of this new pairing overwhelmed a fatigued Roman, who has been less dominant without Heyman, now aligned with the opposition. Breakker continued the attack until Reed hit a crushing tsunami on Roman. Then Breakker loudly declared that this was his ring, his cameraman, his show. Roman has ended shows beaten before, but never has the image of both Jay and Roman being simultaneously taken out at the Timekeeper's area been so striking. And that's how the show ended. This was the powerful final segment the feud needed, giving serious momentum to Heyman's Brawny Boys, our nickname for now. Punk and Gunther went head-to-head with promos to put a final stamp on their heavyweight title match, set to main event night 1 of SummerSlam. It was a strong exchange, though casual fans might not catch all the insider references. Still, Punk delivered a solid face promo, focused on his passionate pursuit of the title. He stated that he didn't want to be champion. He needed it. Aside from one somewhat offbeat remark about understanding addiction despite being famously straight edge, the promo hit all the right emotional notes. Punk remained silent on Hogan's recent passing, which is understandable given his past criticism. Still, the structure of his promo, a classic babyface chasing a dominant heel champion, mirrored the kind of storytelling associated with Hogan's era. Even without directly referencing the Immortal One, the spirit of the chase was familiar and effective. While it didn't do much to enhance the champion or the match itself, Punk gave fans something emotionally engaging going into the weekend. Multi-man tag matches have become a point of discussion among fans recently, but tonight's 6-person mixed tag match stood out. These matches are usually reserved for special occasions or celebrity appearances, and this one delivered. It was a great example of how WWE can integrate divisions effectively when the setup makes sense. Watching AJ and Sane team up to deliver a high-energy offense on members of Judgment Day, regardless of gender, was both exciting and visually impressive. Although it didn't directly elevate the Intercontinental Championship match between Dominic, C, and AJ Styles, it did develop the dynamic between Perez and Mysterio more than any previous segment. The faces came out victorious, but Dominic's position in the now Liv Morgan-less Judgment Day remains complicated. If Morgan makes even a brief, non-physical appearance this weekend, her presence could strongly impact Dominic's character arc at fan reaction, no matter which direction he takes. Later, Finn Balor tried to boost morale among his faction, telling them, "Chin up, it's not the end of the world." He reminded them that stables come and go, yet they hold the titles even after parting ways with Rhea and Priest. His pairing of Dom and Perez seems strategic, likely a response to Liv Morgan's stronger-than-expected influence in the group. Notably, Dominic defends his title on Night 2, while Perez and Raquel defend theirs on Night 1. Other than Morgan's potential return, the story could use a stronger connective thread. Baylor and JD McDonough scored a win over LWO, thanks to interference from not one, but 2 versions of El Grande Americano. The first was stopped by Dragon Lee, but moments later, a much shorter imposter, reportedly Ludwig Kaiser in disguise, appeared and caused further confusion. The tag champs retained their titles successfully, though they currently have no match scheduled for either SummerSlam night. Still, expect them to make their presence felt. Waller continues navigating his post-theory phase. Although not yet ready for a full singles push, his ongoing interactions with the New Day keep him involved. After losing to Sheamus, Waller was blindsided by Rusev, who locked in the Cobra Clutch after striking Sheamus, setting up future tension between the two. The show also saw appearances by major athletes, including former UFC light heavyweight champion Jamahal Hill and Detroit Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs, who once reached out to Triple H about joining WWE. In the women's division, Lyra and Becky wrapped up their feud ahead of their IC title match at SummerSlam. A later backstage segment showed Bayley visibly shaken, reflecting on missing WrestleMania and now SummerSlam. With her talent, she's a strong candidate for a reboot, especially following Naomi's recent resurgence. The concern is she might insert herself into the Becky versus Lyra match instead of getting a fresh storyline of her own. The go-home episode of Monday Night Raw before the first ever two-night SummerSlam 2025 has finally reached its climax, and it ended emphatically in Detroit, Michigan. The show is expected to deliver a major build-up before the high-stakes PLE event, and it certainly delivered. With the conclusion of this Monday Night Raw, the battle lines are now drawn for major matches between WWE superstars at SummerSlam. Only time will tell whether something unexpected occurs at the PLE event, or the top superstars continue to outshine the underdogs. In light of this eventful episode of the Red Brand, here are the major developments from the night in Detroit, Michigan. Monday Night Raw opened with a 10-bell salute to WWE legend and Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan. The entire locker room stood outside to honor the iconic figure, who recently passed away from cardiac arrest at the age of 71. A tribute video highlighting the key moments of his illustrious career was played, met with resounding applause from the WWE universe. The tribute echoed a similar gesture by SmackDown, showing how much Hogan's legacy continues to mean to fans and fellow performers. Hulkamania's influence remains irreplaceable in WWE history. The night's action kicked off with a 6-person mixed tag team match featuring the team of the Kabuki Warriors and AJ Styles taking on Dominic Mysterio, Raquel Rodriguez, and Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day. The psychological warfare between Styles and Mysterio continued, while the women's tag champs held their ground against the Kabuki Warriors. However, a cohesive effort from AJ Styles and his partners led to a well-earned victory, giving their side momentum heading into SummerSlam. Sheamus' post-match celebration after defeating Grayson Waller was cut short when Rusev ambushed him. Unable to cope with his previous loss to Sheamus, Rusev retaliated in a heated exchange that left Sheamus down, intensifying their ongoing rivalry. Lyra Valkyria is set to challenge Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental title in a must-win scenario at SummerSlam. A victory would make her the first-ever two-time holder of the championship, but a loss would prevent her from challenging for the title again as long as Lynch remains champion. During Raw, Lyra's promo was interrupted by Becky Lynch, who attempted a surprise strike with a kendo stick. However, Lyra anticipated the move and countered with confidence, standing tall heading into their showdown. The women's division also delivered a thrilling multi-woman tag match featuring Nikki Bella, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Stephanie Vaquer versus Naomi, Chelsea Green, and a surprise partner. Despite a strong showing from Naomi's team, Stephanie Vaquer stood out with an impressive performance. She overcame the odds and finished the match with her signature move on Chelsea Green, earning a big win for her team. In another shocking moment, an unidentified luchador intervened during LWO's championship match. Despite having control for much of the bout and even neutralizing outside interference, the surprise attack cost LWO the match. Finn Balor and JD McDonough retained their titles thanks to the unexpected assist. Gunther was expecting to send a message to CM Punk ahead of their SummerSlam clash for the World Heavyweight title. However, CM Punk flipped the script with a powerful promo. He confidently claimed his place as the best in the business, highlighting his history of triumphs over legendary opponents. When Gunther tried to respond, Punk cut him off, stating he wasn't done speaking, cementing his dominance in their verbal battle and making a statement ahead of their highly anticipated match. The main event featured Jey Uso versus Big Bronson Reed in a back-and-forth battle between two top-tier competitors. But the match took a dramatic turn when Braun Breaker interfered, delivering a brutal spear to Jey Uso. Roman Reigns arrived to assist his cousin and initially turned the tide. However, a counter-offensive led by Seth Rollins' allies proved too much, and the team of Breaker and Reed regained the advantage. They unleashed a devastating display of power, leaving both Jey and Roman down to close the show, sending a strong message before SummerSlam. Monday Night Raw ended on a suspenseful note. With storylines peaking and tensions rising, the Red Brand has left fans eagerly wondering what twists await at SummerSlam. Will new champions emerge?